Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and welcome to my new digs. And another week means another episode of On the Tube. Sorry this is a little late, I was doing a lot of moving. And we're going to be talking about the different shows that I've gotten a chance to watch over the past week. And we're going to start with the Eddy, and this is a new Netflix show that was put together by Damien Chazelle, and he directed the first two episodes. He wasn't the one who wrote it, but he was a big name attached to this. And it takes quite a few episodes to get going, and it's trying to balance a lot of different kinds of things in the story that it's trying to set up. But in general, it's dramatic, it can be tense, and I really love the music that's being played in it. It's really centered around jazz, and Andre Holland, who's the lead character in this, does a fantastic job, and the story's trying to balance him running his club, dealing with his house band, his relationship with one of the members of the band, his daughter. There's a lot of things going on in this, and there's an interesting kind of twist and mystery to it as his partner winds up dead. And you're trying to figure out what happened and what led to this and how things are going to play out with his relationships. And in general, it's an entertaining show. It's a bit muddled, and it, like I mentioned, it takes a little while to get going, but in general, I think it's a pretty entertaining show, especially if you're into jazz music. There's plenty of it. So if that sounds like something that you'd want to check out, go check out the Eddy. I also got a chance to watch the first season of Star Wars Rebels on Disney+, and I'm so glad that I took the time to check out this show because it has such a great group of characters. Everyone has their own place, it's really entertaining, and the central character and his relationship with this Jedi that he's growing this relationship with in terms of master and apprentice, and there's a lot of cool action in it. There's very exciting incorporations of different Star Wars characters, and a great antagonist in the form of the Grand Inquisitor. And it really builds up to a fantastic altercation in the last episode of this season, and it's a really, really strong first season of a show, and I really enjoyed the characters, the story, where things were going, has all the best pieces of Star Wars, and I really enjoyed the show. So if you're late to the party like I was, go check it out. It's on Disney+, so make it worth it. I also watched the first season of Succession on HBO, and I know this has gotten a lot of attention in terms of awards buzz over the past two seasons, and I was excited to check it out. I love Brian Cox, he's a great actor, and the ensemble in this is really impressive. Kieran Culkin is fantastic, Jeremy Strong, just everyone, each of these characters have so many dimensions to them. They're so interesting, and especially the patriarch of this family on some level is so mysterious, and you're always wondering what's going on underneath. And it's darkly funny, it's very dramatic, it's intense, and goes for crazy twists and turns in the story. There's some incredibly tense and really well created episodes. One in particular about a meeting to forcefully take charge of their company. And there's a lot in terms of business and politics, but also family, and dealing with those different kinds of relationships. This is just a really intriguing and really darkly funny show, and I'm really looking forward to checking out the second season. I also watched The Thick of It, which is a whole total 3 episodes, the first season of Armando Iannucci's show, and Peter Capaldi is absolutely amazing, and I just love seeing him in anything that Armando Iannucci does because he just grabs the material that he has and just completely runs with it, and it's so fantastic. I love every second of it as Tucker, and the satire based around Anglo politics and bureaucracy is so fantastic. It's so funny, and just the dry British humor to all of this is it's just really poignant, and it has a lot to say too, and it's thoroughly entertaining. And honestly, like, I saw it in the loop and loved that film, and getting to know more of his work, especially like The Death of Stalin, absolutely love that, and Avenue 5, which took a couple episodes and became one of my favorite shows on television right now. This show really shows where iEnergy came from, and I have an even bigger appreciation for In the Loop after watching this first season of the show, and I'm definitely going to be checking out the rest of it on BritBox. And then the last one was Solar Opposites, so the Justin Roiland show on Hulu. So he doesn't have Dan Harmon involved with this like Rick and Morty. This show is so all over the place. It has a lot of that Family Guy kind of feel with so much random humor, and some of it is just a little too much for me. But like, I laughed, I chuckled. I didn't find the characters as interesting, but there's a lot of crazy, zany, situational kinds of things with it. I don't think it's as clever and interesting as Rick and Morty, but there's one particular subplot of this show about this wall of small people who are shrunk and put into like this hamster structure. And there's a whole entire episode about the building up of the politics and the lives of all these little shrunken people is so interesting. I'm like, I want to see a whole show about that, because that one particular episode where it really centered on that was the best episode of this season. And it's a crazy, zany, nuts kind of show, and if you're really into that ridiculous, absurdist comedy of Rick and Morty, but you don't care that much that you don't get that emotional connection or a very focused story each episode, then you'll still really appreciate this. Some of that might turn you off, and it made me not love this show, but I enjoyed it. But those are my thoughts on all the shows that I got to watch over the last week, so thank you for tuning in to On the Tube. If you have any of them that you want to talk about, leave a comment below. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.